ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ वर्स 13 न प्रतीतिस्तयोर्बाधः किन्तु मिथ्यात्वनिश्चयः नो चेत् सुषुप्तिमूर्च्छादौ मुच्येतायत्नतो जनः. So in this first 17 verses of this chapter 6 of Pancadasi, Vidyaranya gives a summary of Vedanta with the help of Chitrapata Drishtanta. In this example he introduces three factors. One is a Adhar Vastram, second is a Abhasa Vastram, and third is a color, Varna. Same way, similarly, in case of Chaitanyam also, in place of Adhar Vastram there is a Adhar Chaitanyam. In place of Abhasa Vastram, here we have a Abhasa Chaitanya. And in place of Varna or color, we have here attributes. Color is also attribute. It is one of the attributes. So here we have attributes, varieties of the attributes. We can say the world itself, because world is full of attributes. So this is how, and then also we described these attributes as a samsara. So Adhar Chaitanyam, Abhasa Chaitanyam, and attributes means Jagat, means samsara. And from example we have to know two important things. The first thing is, between Adhar Vastram and Abhasa Vastram, one is Satyam, other is Mithya. Adhar Vastram is Satyam, Abhasa Vastram is Mithya. And why it is said like that? Because Adhar Vastram is, Abhasa Vastram is a visualization of the painter. And so there is no separate Vastram actually worn by the characters of that painting. Not that, you draw a particular character and then you put some real Vastram on that. Really this kind of a Kashaya cloth on that human being called sannyasi. Not like. It's just one thing alone. But it's visualized by the painter. Could you follow? And therefore, Abhasa Vastram is a Mithya thing and Adhar Vastram is a Satyam thing. When actually you see two, but really there is one, there this Satya Mithya thing will appear. When you see two things, pot and clay, when you see a ornament, a ring and gold, you see in your eyes two things actually. And therefore, otherwise why should you use two words? You just say gold, gold, golden gold. Like you should say like that. Golden ring you should not say. Means if you say ring and you use also adjective, substantive kind of a thing, golden ring. Therefore, one thing you are seeing as adjective, other thing is you are seeing as a substantive. Adjective is not substantive. Substantive is not adjective. And therefore, definitely, in your perception there are two. That's how I am saying Abhasa Vastram is a visualization of a painter. And it is very clear from his cheshta that he is taking a particular color and putting in a particular place, right? In a particular place in a human being. So please understand this is a little difficult thing, because perceptually, in reality you feel that is just one thing alone. How, why are you saying two vastrams, etc.? But it is there. One thing is a visualization. So, as I said, there is no separate vastram or a dress worn by the characters of the painting, and therefore the first point, very important point, which is to be understood from the example, is that there is a Satya Mithya Veda. Adhara Vastram, Abhasa Vastram. Adhara Vastram is Satyam, Abhasa Vastram is Mithya. Second point. Second point is that different colors painted, in that Vastram, etc., they are to be attributed to the Abhasa Vastram and not to the Adhara Vastram. So, we gave a logic also, because painter painted, special colors. Special colors. He chose a special color. And well, he paints within the boundaries of that various human beings. And so from that it is clear that the paints also are visualized. So visualized paints belongs to visualized cloth. Right? Visualized paint belongs to visualized clothing. That's Abhas Vastram of a various individuals. And so Varna belongs to Abhas Vastram, not belongs to Adhar Vastram. Be clear about it. I am going to repeat again and again. Even in right now you may feel that it is clear. After the class it is all possible that you may forget it. It is why he is telling two. Why this Swami is telling all the time two. There is actually one thing. We are Advaitin. Therefore there is only Adhar Vastram. There is Adhar Vastram. There is only just canvas. There is nothing else. But I am telling you there are two. And because the activity of the painter shows clear. So if he wants to paint, suppose in his mind, he is visualizing only Adhar Vastram, then in that case he may take any paint, but he will paint entire canvas, but he doesn't. He chose special color, and within the boundaries of a special human being, he paints a particular color. And therefore in his mind, not just Adhar Vastram, not that he is not able to appreciate Adhar Vastram, he only has put that canvas. He knows it is Adhar Vastram. But on and above Adhar Vastram, he is superimposing something. Please understand very well. This is called visualization. Visualization is a superimposition. But it is Ishvara's superimposition, Creator's superimposition, Painter's superimposition. Please understand. After we are created, we superimpose. And that Srushti has to be removed. We have already seen in chapter 4. Jiva Srushta Dvaitam has to be removed. The Ishvara Srushta Dvaitam you should not remove, you need not remove, you can't remove. Anyway, so we are connecting various things. Anyway, so visualized painting belongs to visualized clothing of various individuals. And so Varna, in that example, Varna, the colors, belong to Abhasa Vastram. So, first thing is to be learned is Satya Mithya, Viveka. Adhar, in our case also similarly Adhar Chaitanyam is Satyam, because in place of Adhar Vastram we have Adhar Chaitanyam, which is Adhara. Vishwadharam, Gagana Sadrisham, Meghavarnam, Shubhangam. It's a Vishwadharam. So this is Ishvara, Paramatma is a Vishwadharam. And therefore we Adhara Chaitanyam is Satyam, Abhasa Chaitanyam is Chidabhasa. And so Chidabhasa is, we call it as a Vyavaharik Satyam or Mithya. And this is one important lesson in our Chaitanyam's case. And second important lesson is attributes of basically samsara. Do not and cannot belong to Adhara Chaitanyam, but to Abhasa Chaitanyam alone. So samsara belongs to Mithya Chidabhasa. So samsara is Mithya, right? What belongs to Mithya definitely must be Mithya. Like an attribute of the Mithya Vastu, like an attribute of the rope snake. On rope snake you see certain attributes. Not just you superimpose snake on the rope. You tell a big story also about that snake. You say it is a cobra and it is from so and so place and etc. etc. This is one of the subspecies of the cobra also, and all attributes you give. Accept, and therefore all these things. So, the snake itself is Mithya, then the attributes on the snake are definitely going to be Mithya. So, if Abhasa Chaitanyam is the Chidabhasa, the Jiva is Mithya, then attributes to the Jiva, all the attributes, my God, all attributes, several attributes, and highlighting and highlighting and highlighting. Entire humanity is highlighting their attributes, interested in only that thing. That's an agenda, that I will highlight my attributes. And that is, he doesn't know that he is a big samsari. And if it is really there, you please highlight. That belongs to the Jiva Abhasa Chaitanyam, that is Mithya. Mithya attributes belongs to, Mithya Chidabhasa. If Chidabhasa is Mithya, then the attributes which are there in that Chidabhasa, Jiva, individual, are Mithya. And therefore, everyone is living in this Mithya world, thinking that it is Satyam. This is Maya. This is Maya. So, everything is Mithya. The individual itself is Mithya, and on the top of it, there are all these attributes also. Everything he takes it as a Satyam. So, he considers himself as an individual, he takes it as a real, and then attributes also in that individual, also he takes it as Satyam. And therefore, anyway, so Chidabhasa is Mithya, and therefore samsara also, attributes also is Mithya. Mithya samsara belongs to Mithya Chidabhasa, Mithya Abhasa Chaitanya. So, a color belongs to, well, definitely that Abhasa Vastam is, we consider as a Mithya. So, it's also Abhasa. So, Adhisthana Chaitanyam is not affected by anything. And so, it is Asanga Shuddha Chaitanya. And so, we have learned 2 lessons. Having learned these 2 lessons, now I should ask a question. Which one I will vote for as a real me? And well, most of the people will vote that's Abhasa Chaitanyam or Ahankara or individual or Tvampada Vachyartha or Jiva, well, is Satyam. Means I am Karta, Bhokta, Pramata is Satyam. And so, basically that's not reality. Whatever happens to Abhasa Chaitanyam really does not belong to me. I am Adhara Chaitanyam, free from Kartrutvam, Bhoktrutvam, Pramatrutvam, etc. And that is what Bhagavan also said, Karmani karma yaf pashed, akarmani cha karma hai, etc. etc. Yasya sarve samarambaha, kama sankalpa varjitaha, etc. So all this is, Yasya sarve samarambaha, kama sankalpa varjitaha. Samarambaha, samyak arambaha. The karmas with which a certain, with a certain object, with a certain purpose you do call arambaha. But that also, everything is, for this jnani, everything is mithya. So I am Asanga Chaitanyam, Adhara Chaitanyam means I am Asanga Chaitanyam. Whatever happens to Abhasa, it's very simple. Whatever happens to Abhasa does not happen to that Moolam actually. So whatever happens to Abhasa Chaitanyam does not touch me. So Vidyaranya advised, may you make a proper inquiry, see Adhara Chaitanyam as yourself, see the Adhara Chaitanyam as Satyam, and see other 2. What are the other 2? Abhasa Chaitanyam and the attributes, both are Mithya. Abhasa Chaitanyam Jivaha, attributes, Jagat, both are Mithya. That's how it is. So, and claim that I am Satyavastu, and definitely lead your life happily. Once you gain this kind of a knowledge, well, definitely your life will have a joy, oh joy. Okay? So, he said in verse number 12, Jiva bhava jagat bhave sati. When you negate these 2, swatma eva avashishyate. So what is left behind is nothing but Adhara Chaitanyam, which is myself, which is the reality, or you say swatma. What is left behind is, what is remainder is myself. That myself is Adhara Chaitanya, which is Asangam Chaitanya, which is not Karta, which is not Bhokta, which is not Pramata, which is not a human being, which is not even having positive attributes, which is not having any negative attributes, no attributes, and therefore I am limitless. This is my statement. No attributes means limitless. Attributes means boundaries. Any attribute, bound. No attributes, boundless. That's how. No attributes, boundless. Attributes, boundaries. More attributes, the boundary will become, boundary has a less diameter there. More and more attributes. And that's how any individual, after 40 years of, his life, career, 40 years of career, This fellow is a very limited fellow, very limited. And more you reach on a corporate ladder, there is a corporate ladder which is like a triangle. So when he joined the company, he was a supervisor, and then there are other 15 supervisors also are there, and then from supervisor he goes to that assistant manager. Now earlier 20 supervisors, now 10 assistant managers, and then manager, and then he becomes chairman. He is a lonely fellow. He cannot mix with this all people which are down below in that corporate ladder. He cannot mix. So most of the people who are on the top, they have a lonely life. They have a lonely life. Because he has to find a company of another chairman of another company, and that's difficult. That person has his own ego, and this person has his own ego. That company has a $600 million turnover, and this person has $100 million. So he feels, even though he's a chairman, he feels in presence of that person, he feels a little small fellow, and therefore he doesn't want to interact much with him, because he will open his topic of his own company and how they progress and how this and that, and they are going to take the other the other company also they are going to take into their fold, and therefore this person feels limited, and then he cannot mix with the down and the people who are in the corporate level, who are in the under him, and therefore he is a lonely guy, limited person. A lonely guy is a limited guy, highly limited. He could not mix with anybody rather. This is a big samsara. That's how he says, Swamiji, why he has reached he has a successful career and everything. Why he is unhappy? This is the reason. Adding attributes. 40 years is an addition of attributes in an individual. And one Vedanti at the age of 25 starts even negating whatever attributes he has. He is a simple fellow. He did just BSc, nothing else. And he does not have much career also. He is not even married. Otherwise, a married status also is an attribute. And that fellow starts removing attributes right away with the help of a teacher. And he is becoming bigger and bigger. Bigger than that chairman who has gained that after 40 years. This is, I'm telling you. I'm telling in a joking way, but this is a reality. This is a reality. Then what's your problem? Since you could not become a chairman, Swami, and therefore those grapes are sour for you, that's how you are saying? No. You are born with the desire to be limitless. But that person doesn't know. He feels more attributes, and if I reach on the corporate ladder higher, having more powers, I'm limitless. Well, that's the other way around. And so you cannot become limitless. You should know you are limitless, or else you have to give up the very desire to be limitless. You cannot give up. That's how, otherwise Bhagavan would not have give you second life, third life, fourth life. What for? To entertain such a desire? Imagine desire that I want to be limitless. He also is giving you chance that one day he will know that he is limitless. That's all it is. Nothing else. Anyway, Jiva Bhava, Jagat Bhave, Badhe, when you negate these two, Swatma eva vashishyate. What is left behind, what is the remainder is this myself. Okay, now in this next two verses, that is the 13th verse which we have seen, and 14th verse, well, Vidyaranya defines what you mean by this negation. In fact, we started with that verse 13 yesterday. And what am I to do to negate these two, Jiva Bhava and Jagat? Well, what should I do? Should I close? There are two ways people are employing. Vedanti employs a third method. To negate Jiva and to negate the Jagat, two methods are employed, very popular. Well, should I close my eyes and eliminate the thought, or remove the word, or should I put things somewhere else? I will pluck this Jiva Bhava from me and put it somewhere else, etc. What should I do? So we in Vedanta we don't actually don't do this two removals. We don't negate in that way. First is that Laukika method, A layman's method is physically removing. And Yogika method means closing eyes and mind. Chitta vritti nirodha. So one shuns from the world, and therefore there is no world. One says we should destroy the world, negate the world. So either way, I am not a jiva. What? Well, I am jiva. That is my understanding. That's my awareness about me. And then what to do? Well, you shun your mind. If you shun your mind, basically then you are no more a jiva. Like in a deep sleep state, right? When the mind dissolves, where is jivatva? Therefore, shun the mind, shun the perception, everything. Shun. That's all. So two methods are popular. A Laukika method, a layman's method is to remove something physically. And yoga says, people says no, don't remove anything. You withdraw. That's all. Either you withdraw, either you push the world, or you withdraw from the world. We say the thing is required. We have a third method, so of knowledge. I mean negate. I'm talking about the negation. How you negate the world. One is destroy the world. Second says, well, no, don't destroy the world. It's not possible. You shun yourself. You resolve your mind and perception, everything, and go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And then everything is gone. And you are, this is how you only are left, right? Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. Therefore, Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That is how they start. They start with these two sutras. Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. Then this Drashta, now he abides in oneself. We are going to see this abidance in oneself. What is this abidance in oneself? That Vidyaranya himself is going to describe. So, anyway, Vedanta has a third method of negation. Understand? So, like this is in my hand. Two methods. A layman, if I want to negate this, what will I do? If I am not a yogi, what will I do? I will throw. That's all. I can throw and say, well, it is not there in my hand now. The other person says, no, you don't throw. You basically go away from that. You don't do anything to that. You go away from that. So you resolve your mind. If mind is resolved, where is the question of that this is in your hand? This itself will not be will not remain. And therefore, basically you shun yourself. We say we will hold this thing in hand, and also says that it is not there. This is what we are. This Vedanta is a big jadugar. I am telling you, it's a big magician. He keeps this thing in hand, neither throws, neither he shuns himself. He keeps in hand and says it is not there. What a beautiful thing it is, And so this person, basically he is an inquirer. And Vedanta means inquirer. And he says, is there a clip really or not? That's all. These two people who would have done that job, so they would have saved the effort of throwing away, or they would have saved the effort of very shunning themselves. Shunning means, you shun yourself means what? My God, you have to go step by step, every step. So first thing is yama, and then niyama, and then asana, and then prana. Every step is a big headache. You will be stuck somewhere. I am telling you, it's not that simple. When you go to dharana, you feel, well, everything comes other than what object of meditation. Everything comes other than that. And therefore, basically, one should inquire whether really there is a pen or not. Is there a substance called pen or not? Well, on inquiry we see basically that name and form are superimposed upon plastic. And therefore we, as a substance, it is just a plastic. So I can say that there is no plan. There is no plan, etc. So Vacharambanam Vikaro, this is our bread and butter, I am telling you. Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadheyam Vrittika Ityeva Satyam. We understand the Satyam, the substance, the tangible thing as this Mrittika. And so holding a pot, he says there is no pot. That's a negation. That's a negation. One person says, the layman says, throw away the pot. Well, and the yogi says, don't throw away the pot. You withdraw. That's how it is. You withdraw. Chitta vritti nirodha. So you just withdraw. If there is no thought, if there is no mind, where is a question of a pot? There is no pot. And therefore, where we say, holding to the pot, we say, there is no pot. There is no pot. This is a third method. It's a Vedantic method, a magician's method. So, by knowing the essence of this clip, or knowing the essence of a pen, or knowing the essence of a pot, you basically then inquire into the whole creation, Jagat and Jiva. You don't destroy, because Jiva Jagat Bhava Badhe Sati, in verse number 12, Jiva Jagat Bhava Badhe Sati. So this too has to be negated. So basically knowing the essence. Just as holding to that, still I say there is no pen. Same way, extend to now every name and form, not just one name and form. Extend to every name and form and say, they are really not there. Just as there is no other, separate existence of a pen, etc., other than the plastic or whatever. So this is better. This is better for plastic. Okay, this is better. Anyway, click. So basically, extend to every name and form. That's Jagat. Extend to Jiva, another name and form. Well, definitely. So, you inquire into the whole creation, that is Jagat and Jiva, and you need not destroy the world. Don't destroy by the yogic method, or don't destroy by the layman's method. Well, look at the truth of Jiva and Jagat. Please understand this. Look at the truth of Jiva and Jagat, and you arrive at Adhar Chaitanyam. Swatma eva avashishyate. You look at the Adhar Chaitanyam. Once I recognize, the truth of the entire creation, or the Jiva, both, Jiva and Jagat, both, samsara is reduced. Because I have negated. I have negated the Jiva, Abhasa Chaitanyam. Then the attributes in the Abhasa Chaitanyam also are negated. And therefore, those attributes are called samsara. Therefore it is gone. So this is how it has been told. And this is basically a cognitive process, intellectual process. And because jnanam takes place in intellect, this is a knowledge, and therefore this knowledge must be very, very clear. You should have a clear understanding of that. And so he uses the word vinishchayaha in the verse 14 also. So na pratiti stayo badha kintu mithyatva nishchayaha. And so nishchaya is there. And so, he uses word here, Nishya. In the next word, he is going to use word Vinishya. It's a clear understanding. Okay. So, even after Nishya, perceptually clip is available. And in using that clip, handling the clip also, still that Vedantin says there is no clip. He does a negation of a clip. So, because clip is not a substance. Clip is not a substance. It's just Namarupa. Namarupa is not a substance. And definitely. Tayoho badha. Tayoho namarupayoho badha, or Jiva Jagat badha. So, negation of these two, Jiva bhava and Jagat bhava, negation of these two are Abhasa Chaitanyam and these Jagat attributes in Abhasa Chaitanyam, etc. Na apratiti. So basically Tayo badha. So, negation of these two is not and non-experience of these two. Understand? Na apratitihi, pratiti experience, experience, apratitihi, non-experience. Na apratitihi. It is not that it will not be experienced. Once you negate these two, you don't think that they will not be experienced. They will be experienced. This is our mithyatva nishchaya. That's what he says. Mithyatva nishchaya is this. So, you cannot skip the experience of these two, Jiva and Jagat, even after negating them. You cannot skip. And therefore, let experience of the world continues. Let the experience of a Jiva Bhava continues in you. Let mind, all senses also continue. And therefore Chitta Vritti Nirodha, etc. is not required at all. Apparent use of the mind is required. And this is only, what is required is Mithyatva Nishchaya. Mithyatva Nishchaya is called negation. That is the magician's negation. And therefore, so experientially they are there, but factually they are not there. And we have seen several examples, blue ocean and blue this and etc. etc. Stationary earth and flat earth and all that. All experiences with the help of a knowledge. It's a cognitive change. When you take into account this science, yeah, right? There will be a cognitive change in you that even you experientially all this will continue. Everything continues, but in your mind, you know very well cognitively that they are not there. They are negated. There is no flat earth, and then there is no stationary earth. There is no blue ocean. There is no blue sky, etc. etc. So here also experiences are there. As an individual, I experience myself that I am an individual, and the Jagat also you experience, and there will be a transaction between the two also, as an individual and this world. Everything continues, but factually they are not there for this magician, that our magician, the Vedanti. So Adhar Chaitanyam is factually there, and if you don't understand, then you will definitely work for shutting down this perception of the world or withdrawal of thoughts, and that you consider as a liberation. Non-experience of the world is moksha in yoga. You no more experience the world. Chittavritti nirodha, totally. Then simply going to sleep becomes moksha. He is going to tell. Why should you work for so many steps? Just take a sleeping pill, and then that's all. You have no more perception. You have no more. Your mind also will not be there, and you have Advaita experience also. Very much everything is there, and therefore you say Advaita experience is moksha, and therefore I am having moksha every day. Why should I go for these 8 steps? Ashtanga Yoga. And so, this is not Vedantic Advaita. This is Yoga Advaita. And Yoga Advaita we are getting every day. Understand, Yoga means experientially you should have Advaita. Because in Nirvikalpa Samadhi there will not be any knowledge. There will be an experience of Advaita. That is called Nirvikalpa. Vikalpa is Advaita. Nirvikalpa means Advaita. Nothing other than you. Well, then in deep sleep state, nothing other than you. So you work for 8 steps, okay, throughout the life. I will take a sleeping pill whenever I want Advaita experience. And therefore, in spite of Jiva and Jagat, in spite of the duality, in spite of the transaction, in spite of handling all the names and forms, in spite of handling everything in the creation in Vyavara, this fellow says they are not there. Amazing it is. It's amazing. It's amazing. But how dare he says that there is Advaita alone even while experiencing everything? That is what you are. That is what you are, and that's a reality. You cannot negate it. And that's what, because in other 2 states called Jagrat and Sapnavastha, you superimpose. And that's how a duality is as though created. And that you are contributor in creating a duality. You are basically a non-dual, and that's your own experience. That's your own experience. That is the deep sleep state. And therefore, Advaita experience I have plenty. Why should I work for this Chittavritti Nirodha? Well, deep sleep is enough. So, this is not Vedantic Advaita. What they talk about Advaita Avastha, Nirvikalpa Avastha, etc. And because I am already having it. So why you are saying all this? I am not telling. He is telling. Sushupti murchado ayatnataha janaha muchet. No chet. No chet means if this is not true, what I am talking to you, that the magician does not have, magician is all the time seeing Advaita. Means Atma eva avashishyate. Swatma eva avashishyate, Jeev Jagat Bhava Badhe Sati. When these two are negated and then there is only leftover is this Adhara Chaitanyam, which is Advaita. Well, other two are negated, duality has gone, then well definitely that kind of a thing, if you don't accept that you are basically Adhara Chaitanyam and Advaita by nature, non-dual by nature, then if you don't accept it, no chet means if you don't accept it, etc., then in that case, Sushupti Murchadav Janaha Ayatnataha Muchet. And you have to really work for to become a non-dual, or you have to really work for a non-dual experience, going into Samadhi, etc. Then Sushupti is enough. Why Samadhi? Sushupti is enough. Samadhi is not required. What is the difference between Sushupti and Samadhi? Please tell us. No, but in that I have an experience of a non-dual. Yeah, but I am experiencing non-duality during deep sleep state. That's how when I wake up I can tell. And murcha, he said telling. Vidyaranya says murchado. So in a coma, etc. also. Well, there is nothing other than you. Janaha ayatnataha muccheta. This person, ayatnataha. Ayatnataha is a tasil pratyaya. Tas is there. It is in the sense of third case. I mean, so because this tasil pratyaya is a sarva vibhaktika. I mean, it can be taken in a fifth case, it can be taken in third case, etc. etc. We take here trutiyarthe, and so I am hetvarthe or karanarthe you can take with the help of, without any efforts. Ayatnata, without any effort, this person, muccheta, will be definitely gets moksha. Because Advaita is a moksha. There is nothing other than me is a moksha. And that's my experience. Well, then the person who is in a deep sleep state or who is in a coma also have a non-dual experience. And therefore, well, that is not required. I mean, that is not correct. And so, what is to be understood is, even while experiencing this duality, etc., in form of an individual or this world, well, still the person says they are not there. And now he is explaining that further. So let's go to verse number 14. Paramatma avasheshopi tatsatyatva vinishchayah na jagad vismrutir no chet jivan muktir na sambhavet. So if you see the verse number 12, we have seen in the second line, Jiva Bhava Jagat Bhava Badhe Swatma Eva Avashishyate. Bad, after negation, this Atma is a remainder, is a leftover, etc. etc. Now Badaha, negation we have seen, right, in verse number 13. What is negation in our case is Mithyatva Nishchaya. Understanding them as a Mithya. And therefore any Mithya, any name and form can be kept in hand and said, well, it is not there. There is no really pen. There is just a plastic, etc. Or in form of, this is better. Well, so when I say there is no clip at all, in keeping in the hand, I can say there is no clip. I mean, there is just a plastic. Then what about clip, which you have used the word? That is mithya. That's mithya. Name and form is mithya, which cannot stand. I mean, the existence of the clip is the existence of the plastic. If there are two separate existences, both are satya. If two independent existence, both are satya. Like these two, just take it. I mean, in example, these two independently exist, both are satya. But clip and plastic, there is only one thing existing. There is no second existence. And therefore, existence of the plastic is the existence of the clip. Don't say that. Don't say that. Because in absence of a clip, plastic exists. In absence of a clip, plastic exists. When clip is non-existent, plastic exists. And therefore, plastic is independently existing. Clip is not independently existing. If plastic does not exist, clip exists cannot be told. And therefore, when you appreciate two things, but in reality there is one, then one is automatically negated. That negation we are interested. Therefore, this Vedanti, well, definitely keeping in hand, he says there is no clip, and he is right. This person is working. So even I am experiencing that I am a jiva. Even I am experiencing this world with the full of attributes and all duality. Well, I can say they are not there. That negation we are interested. Not of a yoga people negation we are interested in that. Anyway, so Badaha we have explained in verse number 13. What is left over is from the verse 12 is Shishyate. Shishyate. What remains? What is this remainder? What is this remainder? You say Swatma eva avashishyate. The Atma alone, the Adhar Chaitanyam alone remains. What is this remains? So now that has to be understood here in verse number 14. So I could say in verse number 13, word Bada has been explained. In verse number 14, word Shesha, remainder, has been explained. Now, Shesha means what? Abiding into this non-dual Atma after negating other two. after negating Dvaitam, after negating Jiva and Jagat, after negating Dvaitam, as a mithya, then abiding into this non-dual Atma. So Atma Rupena Samsthitihi we can call abiding in Atma. It creates a confusion because I am asked to abide, and therefore, I'm asked to abide means, I have to eliminate this Dvaitam, and moment you open the eyes, moment you are awake to yourself, you see yourself as a jiva, and moment you are awake to yourself also, when you take yourself jiva and you take this world also as real, and so all you see is Dvaitam. So abidance in this Advaita Atma, non-dual Atma means what? I mean what is left over is Adhara Chaitanya, which is non-dual. What is abiding into this Advaita Atma? So that, it is negating the world, and then it is non-perception etc. of the world. That is not our philosophy, that is yoga philosophy. Though they talk about abidance in Atma, we don't talk abidance into Atma. Avasthitihi they call. Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. Avasthanam means abidance. This Avasthanam means a abidance. So, removing all these thoughts ultimately, when you become, you become thoughtless, then definitely you are abiding into yourself. Other than you, there is nothing else. And so all you have removed completely. You are now in a thoughtless state. And in that thoughtless state, what is left over is this Adhar Chaitanyam, Atma alone, and that is called moksha. Vidyaranya says it is not so abiding in as a Dvaitam as a thoughtless state, etc. It's another form of a clear understanding, and so he uses the word Vinishchaya, clear understanding. He says Paramatma Avashesha. Paramatma Avashesha means after negating of the world, remaining the remainder. What is remainder? Ultimate remainder. Avashesha is this Paramatma or Atma. So Paramatma Avashesha means Paramatmana Avashesha. Paramatma Rupena Avashesha. And so Paramatma Rupena, what is left over is Adhar Chaitanyam, that is Paramatma, that is Atma. And Tat Satyatva Nishaya, that is what he is explaining. So Paramatma Avashesha Tat Satyatva Nishaya. Paramatma Satyam, that is Vinishya, that is clear understanding. That Paramatma is Satyam, Adhar Chaitanya is Satyam, everything else is Mithya, and it can't be counted anytime. Even I am experiencing, I will not count. That is remainder as a Paramatma. What I count is, I have one counting. I know only one number. I have learned algebra, but I have not gone more than number 1. I don't know number 2. Number 2 is not there. So there are many things. But this fellow says, there is nothing. He sees only one thing. So that is remainder. And he sees that thing means he could not negate that thing. That must be the truth of the thing. So, existence is the truth of a thing. You can negate all the things, I tell you. You can negate clip, and you can arrive at another name and form, right? You break into some pieces. You will not use word now clip. Name has gone, that form clip also has gone. And now, another name and form has come. Then that also you reduce, another name and form has come. Another name and form has come. So they are negated. They are negated. Clip has been negated, now some chips of plastic. Then now chips etc. has gone, some other. Then atom, then this. What is not negated is existence. You cannot negate existence. And this is a really contradiction. Existence is negated. What is this? Existence is non-existent. It cannot be. And therefore, Paramatma Avashesha, that is Sat, that cannot be negated. And therefore, what is negated is Mithya. What is negated is Mithya. And therefore, keeping in hand, I negate the one name and form, second name and form, third name and form, intellectually, cognitively, I keep on negating. But I am not able to negate ease. That is Satya. So basically, abiding into a remainder, is nothing but Tat Satyatva Nishchaya. What is essence of this? Is just an existence, nothing else. That's what we say. And names and forms, even though right now you feel that they are experientially they are there, but you can't count. That's how. So you can't count. If you can't count, then what is left over is just you. What is satyam cannot be negated, and what is mithya cannot be counted. And therefore, basically, please understand. So mithyatva nishya, very beautiful he says. Tat satyatva nishya. Earlier he said mithyatva nishya. Now he says tat satyatva nishya. So abiding into Adhar Chaitanyam, abiding into this Atma, abiding into Paramatma. Paramatma avashesha. What is left over is Paramatma, Adhar Chaitanyam, etc. And that is nothing but tat satyatva nishya. There is no physical destruction of anything. Just intellectually, cognitively, you keep on negating. And what is unnegatable in this is existence. What is unnegatable is existence. I'm not talking about consciousness, etc. I can talk about consciousness also, but I don't talk. Consciousness also cannot be negated. You say this particular clip is there, so clip consciousness is there. Now you say chips are there, chip consciousness is there. When you say molecules are there, molecule consciousness is there. How will you say? How can you say Swamiji consciousness is there? How can you talk about anything other than consciousness? Please tell me. When you say molecules are there, if consciousness is not there, how will you make this statement, molecules are there? And therefore existence, consciousness continues. Clip consciousness is. So existence is consciousness continues. And what is left over ultimately is just consciousness. Why? What is ultimately left over here? A concept. Clip will go to the clipboard. Clip will go to the clipboard, I am telling you. The scientist, later he will not see here. He sees everything. When he reduces too much, and then ultimately that clip basically goes to the concept. Then because he wants to show his concepts about the truth of this thing. So he goes to the clipboard, blackboard, whatever. So basically, no concept exists independent of consciousness. Think. The very concept of a concept is due to consciousness. What is this final thing is consciousness. But if you don't want to appreciate it, don't worry. Just say existence. Existence cannot be negated. That being existence. Existence cannot become a non-existence. And therefore, it cannot be negated, And therefore, ultimately, the remainder is this. Cognitively negating what is negatable. Cognitively. Please understand. Throwing, breaking is a layman's method. Shunning yourself is this yoga. We say just shun this thing, negate this thing cognitively. That is how vichara, very, very important. Vichara. Ultimately, to find a remainder, one has to do vichara. What is vichara? Inquiry. Inquiry into what? Inquiry into the Shastra itself. Actually, that leads to self-inquiry. I am going to talk about it today also. Anyway, so basically, this cannot be. What is mithya cannot be counted anytime. I am Advaitam at what time? Suppose Atma is left over, that is Adhara Chaitanya, that is me, and I am Advaitam at what time? So what is this question? I am telling you, like I am in a room, understand, alone, Advaita, okay? Now I will put here fixed 10 mirrors here, and then there are 10 mirrors, 10 Muktatmas other than this Muktatma also, 11 Muktatmas are there, and then definitely, now there is a Dvaitam, and basically I experience Dvaitam. Other 10, more than me, other 10 also I am experiencing. Now I want to remove 10 and remain as Advaita. What should I do? Destroy this 10. You are a mad guy. You should destroy this 10. Then you only will be there. I should not do anything. Even while experiencing other 10, keeping the mirrors, okay? Keeping the mirrors and experiencing this 10, well, I can say that I am Advaita. The other two people which we have talked about, right? One fellow says, well, remove all the mirrors. If you want to be Advaitam, remove all the mirrors. The yogi says, well, close your eyes and go to sleep. Close your eyes and go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Then you won't experience any duality. All 11 will go. And therefore, what is left over, or all 10 will go. That's better. All 10 will go. You alone will be there. Go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And then thoughts of 10 Muktatmas will go away. So, one person told, layman says, remove the mirrors. Other person says, don't remove anything. You go. You shun yourself. Vedanta says, no. I will drink coffee and the other 10 also are drinking coffee, and I am seeing all of them and making a frown face to all of them, and still I say I am alone there in the room. What a beautiful thing, right? So much effort will say, keeping away the mirrors and this and that and shunning yourself, and we don't want anything. We are just sitting in this chair and experiencing this other 10 Muktatmas also, and drinking coffee also very beautifully. They also are drinking. I am offering them also. And basically, what a beauty. This is a brilliance of the Vedanta, I tell you. This is the brilliance of the Vedanta. In absence of the taking Shastra as a pramana, all problems, removal of the world, or shun yourself. These two extremes is there in absence of taking the Shastra, Veda as a pramana. If you take into account Veda as a pramana, you would not have done anything. Or you would not have even gotten up from your chair also. Because to remove the mirrors, you have to get up. And additional backache will occur, because this removing the mirrors is a very big problem. And going to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, my God, whole my life will go and to remove these 10 fellows. Could you follow what I am saying? And so Vedantin will basically do one thing. He just sits, and in fact additional 1 cup of coffee, and then another cup, American cup of coffee. Huge. Is it huge? One after the other, third, fourth, and sitting and enjoying, seeing the world, taking himself as an individual, as experiencer. He takes himself as an experiencer. He tells, I am a karta, I am bhokta, I am pramata, everything he says. Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shwasan, Pralapan, Visrujan, Unmishan, Nimishan. Naiva kinchit karun. Pashyan, seer. Shrunvan, hearer. He takes. He is hearing Swamiji, but he does not take himself as a hearer. What are you talking about? If you are not a hearer, and while listening, you don't say you are a listener, then what? What's your understanding? What's your understanding? You take yourself as a listener, and still you know that you are not, neither you are listening, neither you are a listener. That's the thing. So while experiencing, this is called mithya. Experience will continue. Everything will continue intact. Don't throw anything. Don't shun yourself. Take yourself as a karta, bhokta, pramata, and yet you don't take yourself as a karta, bhokta. Because we follow Ishvara. And we will talk the way parrot talks. We also will talk the way he talks. He told in chapter 4, Tasya kartaram apimam vidya karta. Akarta. Well, I am a karta of this entire creation, I am a creator, and yet I am not a creator. So we also say, I am a karta, and yet I am not a karta. I am Paramatma all alone. That's a reminder. Tasya kartaram vidya kartaram. Akartaram kartaram. In a single line. So, Pashyanapi na pashyati, Shrunvanapi na shrunoti, right? Brihadanika. Pashyanapi na pashyati, Shrunvanapi na shrunoti. Experience will continue. Don't throw away anything. experience of 10 Muktatmas, let them continue. Still you say, I am the remainder. Nothing else is Satya. And so, 1 plus 10 is equal to 11 people experience, total 11 are there. Because I experience myself, I am being self-revealing. And other 10 also I am experiencing. And yet I say, I am one alone. Don't remove any 10 or etc. etc. in order to get Advaitam, in order to get a remainder as yourself. So basically this is, so Mithyatva Nishchaya is very, very important, or Atma alone is Satyam in everything, is because in all the 10 are dependent on me. They don't have a separate existence. I am independent existence. They are Mithya. If they don't exist independent of me, means I am Satyam, they are Mithya. That's all. That's enough. So I am Satyam. I am alone then, because all 10 cannot be counted. 1 plus 10 is equal to 1. This is arithmetic of Vedanta. This is an arithmetic of Vedanta. 1 plus 100 is equal to 1. 1 plus 1000 is equal to 1. Yeah. So 100 gram gold plus, you add names and forms, whatever you like in the jewelry shop. You add. Oh, but that will not be 100 grams. Okay. 5 kg, 10 kg, 1 ton, whatever. That gold alone is Satya. Whatever names and forms are just Mithya, cannot be counted. That's how 1 ton gold remains 1 ton gold. Addition of a name and form cannot add anything. This other 10 cannot add to me. These other 10 Muktatmas cannot add anything to me. They are Mithya. Therefore, before counting also I was alone, and now after counting also I am alone. That's how it is, Advaita. So, basically, Mithya cannot be counted along with the Satyam, and so without removing mirrors, without even closing the eyes, just understand, I am Satyam. I, the Muktatma, is Satyam, these other 10 are Mithya. So I remain as Advaita. So this is how it is. This is the difference. You see? Now I will take back you to creation. Before creation, Sadeva Somme Damagra Asit Ekameva Advitiyam. Before the creation, Sat alone was there. And after creation is addition of name and forms. What remains is what? Sat alone. One thing alone remains. Ekameva Advitiyam right now also. After creation. Ekameva Advitiyam before the creation also. So Ekam is Ekam. This is a remainder. What I am saying is, this is a remainder. After creation of Jiva and Jagat, still Adhar Chaitanyam is one alone. So, even while remaining as Advaitvam, while my eyes are not closed, neither I throw away anything, neither I remove the mirrors, etc. So, Advaitam is not threatened by the perception of these 10 people. Advaitam cannot become Dvaitam by these 10. 10 people means, or these 10 Muktatmas. Anyway, in this class, a lot of Muktatmas have come anyway. Chalega. So, this is Vedanta. Okay? Other than that yoga, etc. is a Devanta. Puja Swamiji's word. So, this is alone Vedanta. So, Mithya Dvaitam cannot disturb this Advaitam. My knowledge that even, this ocean is not blue is not threatened by the perception of the blue ocean. That's what Mithya is. So, experience can't disturb this knowledge. Knowledge can't be disturbed because it is a fact. Since fact cannot be shaken, the knowledge of the fact cannot be shaken. That's all it is. And therefore I am Advaitam, that's a fact. And knowledge of that Advaitam, even cannot be shaken, cannot be threatened by the experience of Dvaitam. Dvaitam is Mithya, Advaitam is Satya. Any Mithya thing cannot threaten what is Satya because of the lower order of reality. So any kind of an experience can't disturb me. Why I am saying this? Because all the time the argument against this Vedantin is this. You are eating food and this and that and you are doing all this thing and you are considering yourself as an individual and all the time working in the world and you are saying, the world is not there and this Jiva also is not there, individual is not there. How can you say like that? How can you say? But they don't know that even after experiencing all I can say they are not there. Keeping keeping this in hand, I can say it is not there. So you should know that dimension of this, that there is something tangible, there is a substance in this which alone which is not negated, which is Satyam, and this name and form is basically is a mithya thing. It cannot exist independently. It is negatable. That's how we are negating, and it is negatable. If I break it right now, but you said you need not. You don't want to break. Yeah, why I need not break? Even you can understand that if this form, particular form is not there, corresponding name is also not there. There will be another form. There will be another name. But definitely that plastic, which is the truth of that. In that on that plastic only all the names and forms are sitting. All the names and forms are abiding into that Satyam. That is called plastic. Nothing else. Therefore, plastic alone is the fact, and knowledge of the plastic also cannot be threatened. Cannot be threatened. So both, two things are there. Fact is not disturbed. Fact is not shaken. Knowledge of that fact also cannot be disturbed, and therefore opposite experience cannot disturb. Why opposite? Because I am Advaita. I say I am Advaita, I am non-dual, and the experience proves a duality. Experience proves duality. So experientially it is an opposite. So opposite experience also cannot disturb. I am, and I was, and I will be ever Advaita. You should awake to this fact. That's called Brahmajnana. Well, earlier also it was Adhar Chaitanyam, now also Adhar Chaitanyam, and afterwards also Adhar Chaitanyam. One alone Chaitanyam is there. That is, so any kind of an experience can't disturb me, Adhar Chaitanyam. Then, how do you abide in this Atma? By understanding the Atma. That's how Vidyaranya says, Tat Satyatva Nishchaya. Tat means that Paramatma, that Adhar Chaitanyam. If abidance in Atma requires that withdrawal of all this Vyavara, then Jivan Mukti is not possible. Why you have brought Jivan Mukti? He is telling. Jivan Mukti na sambhavet. If Jivan Mukti cannot be possible, because for Jivan Mukti person should be alive. Jivan Mukti means what? While alive, he is Mukta. Then while alive means what? Your Atma is alive? Do you think Atma is alive? No, that Jiva is alive. Jivati iti Jiva, which is alive. So what is alive is just Jiva. So if Jiva continues, how can he say he is Adhar Chaitanya? He is Abhas Chaitanya. Because person, he is alive and he has a prarabdha also. And then na jagat vismritihi, and non-perception of world or silencing the mind, etc. also is not an abidance in Atma. Jiva continues, Jagat continues. Jiva continues because Jivan Mukti is called, while he is alive, he is free. And therefore he is alive means as a Jiva, as an individual, he continues. And he has his prarabdha. He has to exhaust that prarabdha. And then he is alive. Then he is experiencing the world also. Right? Experiencing the world also. And therefore, Jiva and Jagat both continue. And you are saying the remainder is Adhar, Chaitanyam, etc. How can you say that? Because they are Mithya. Mithya cannot be counted along with the Satyam, etc. So, na jagat vismritihi, he says, non-perception of world or silencing the mind is not abidance in Atma. If silencing the mind is abidance in Atma, no chet, means if you define wrongly that silencing the mind, etc., is this moksha, etc., Jivan Mukti na sambhavet. Nobody even can serve as a teacher. Yeah, because the teacher has to see the disciple. Ho gaya, duality. Teacher has to see the book. The third duality. So everything goes away. And because silencing the mind means Jiva also will resolve. Jagat will resolve. If silencing the mind, then he cannot serve as a teacher also. Because he doesn't know. He doesn't know Shastra, he doesn't know Shishya, etc. They are present in the class. He doesn't know anything. And when the moment he opens the eyes, he is a Jiva. And they are, the Jagat also is there. Shishyas are there, Shastra is there, everything is there. And therefore, but is it not possible that Guru is all the time having a silencing the mind? All the time silencing the mind. He does not see himself as a Jiva, he does not see him Jagat. everything has gone. Is it not so? If it is so, Upanishad would not have said something. What Upanishad say? Upanishad said tad vijnanartham guru meva abhigachet shrotriyam brahmanishtam. He says, Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad very clearly says, if you want to know this Brahman or Atma, non-dual Atma, you should go to the teacher. Teacher is teacher ultimately. He may be knowing something. No, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. He is abiding into the Atma. What he is teaching. And Shrotriyam also, he knows how to teach. And therefore, a Shishya goes to the teacher also. And teacher has to teach. And therefore, all the thoughts will be there. Where is the silencing of the mind? Where is the silencing of the mind? And very clearly, beautifully said in Chandogya, I think, Acharyaman Purusho Veda. The person who has Acharya only will know this Atma, non-dual Atma. Therefore, Acharya is definitely delivering what? Delivering what? Non-dual Atma. If he is not clear, how he is going to deliver? And to deliver, definitely he has all the thoughts. And he is seeing a person, a Shishya, right there in front of him. Everything is seen. Jiva Jagat, everything is correct. He takes himself as a guru also, teacher. And he sees the Shishya, he sees the Shastra. So where is this silencing the mind? If silencing the mind, etc. is there, then Jivan Mukti itself is not possible. While alive, he is Mukta. Means Jiva Bhava continues. Even though it is Mithya, it continues. And therefore, they should be shunned, etc. Well, that's not correct. And therefore, so even while perceiving Shastra, Shishya, world, etc., he is abiding in Atma. He counts only Atma. That's all. And all this varieties of this, I count only one thing. So I experience everything. I utilize it also in different places. I do everything. But I count one thing. No more than that. Mithya thing cannot be counted, added into Satyam. And therefore Satyam remains one alone. One thing alone is Satyam. And therefore Atma, which is Advaita, that will continue. Okay. Now let's go to verse number 15. Oh, time is up. Okay. Yeah. Let's just read. Paroksha cha paroksheti vidyadveda vicharaja tatra paroksha vidyaptau vicharoyam samapyate. I will just take it 2-3 minutes more. So he clearly says here, he said that negation of Dvaitam is Vinishya, means a clarity. So abidance in this remainder Paramatma is Vinishya, is nothing but the clear understanding of the Jiva, clear understanding of the Jagat. They are all Mithya, and what is truth is this Atma alone, which alone pervades everything, which alone is the truth of everything, Jiva, Jagat, etc., which alone is the essence of everything, which alone is the Atma of everything, and therefore I am Advaita. Other than me, everything is Mithya. That Satyatva Nishchaya is an abidance into non-dual Atma. And this is in form of a knowledge. So Shishya comes and says, I accept this, what you say. Okay, that clear knowledge is required. Satyatva Nishchaya, clear knowledge is nothing but what is Satyam, what is Mithya. Mithya cannot be counted, and therefore what is left over, what is remainder is this Satya Atma alone. And that the truth of everything is this Atma alone. I understand very well. But tell me, how do I get this knowledge? How do I get this knowledge? And then he clearly says that knowledge is acquired by inquiry into Shastra Pramana Vakya. Vicharaja Vidya. So, born of Vichara. Vichara means born of Shravanam and Mananam of the Shastra. Shravanam is nothing but a Pramana Vichara, and Mananam is nothing but a Prameya Vichara. So, Shravanam is nothing but to understand the purport of the Shastra. We inquire into the Pramana, ultimately to know the self. But we want to understand what is the purport of the Shastra. That's a Shravana. And after understanding the purport of the Shastra, that the non-dual Atma, etc., then the other doubts will come. Because everybody does not say that everything is one thing alone, ultimately, Atma alone, Adhara Chaitanyam alone. Nobody says like that. And so other contemporary philosophies or contemporary thinking about the same Atma you will come in contact with, and then doubts will arise. That has to be resolved. That's called Prameya Vichara. So Mananam is a Prameya Vichara. Prameya is the object of knowledge, that is Atma here, and therefore basically Pramana Vichara is a Shastra, Shravana, and Prameya Vichara is a Mananam. That's called here Vichara. Vichara means this too, Shravanam and Pramana. Vicharaja Vidya. So the knowledge which is born of Vichara, of inquiry. Vichara Jayate iti Vicharaja. And that is Strilinga because Vidya is there. So here there is a problem. We often use this word self-inquiry. And here you say Pramana Vichara, etc., inquiry into the Shastra, etc. So what is this? What is correct? Whether it is inquiry into the Shastra is correct or inquiry into the self is correct. Basically, I want a self-knowledge. That you said Atma alone is Satyam, ultimately a non-dual, etc. And then I have to inquire into myself. Why should I inquire into the Shastra? And Shastra, your Shastra says very well that I am Panchakosha Atita. And Panchakosha Atita means I have to go inside Annamaya Atma, and then Anyontar Atma Pranamaya, Anyontar Atma Manomaya, and therefore I have to go within. And your Taittiriya also said, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. This Atma is there in this Guha. And therefore, where is the inquiry into Shastra? Inquiry into oneself is important. So go deeper and deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper and deeper, and one day you will just collide with the Atma. You will understand Atma. There will be a self-realization that you will know you are not like that. So, what will you do when you want to see yourself? You say self-inquiry, right? We want to see yourself. Forget about ourselves, Brahman. Forget. Who are you? Oh, I am a human being. You want to see your face. What will you do? What will you do? To see your face, you have to use your face, right? Why do you see outside? Why do you see outside? You should not see. And so he did not understand what I am saying. So to see what in world, to see anything, what is the means? Means of knowledge? Eyes. Now to see the eyes, you have to use eyes. There is nothing other than eyes which can see. To see your eyes, you have to see your eyes. You have to see through your eyes. What will you do? What will you do? To see your eyes, whether your eyes is sufficient or you have to see somewhere else, externally. You have to see in the mirror. Whatever eyeballs movement you do, 50 years movement of eyeballs, whatever you do, you will not be able to see yourself. To see your eyes are not sufficient. You have to see in external means, mirror. And therefore, to see yourself, considering you are a body, human being, to see your face, you have to see outside. That's how it is. So to see your real self, you have to see external. Okay? In that Shastra, you have to see that. But even while you are seeing the Shastra, you are seeing yourself. Even while seeing a mirror, you are not seeing mirror, you are seeing yourself. Nobody sees a mirror except while buying the mirror. While buying the mirror, you see the mirror. Afterwards, you never see the mirror. You see yourself in the mirror. Okay? So even though it looks external seeing, to see yourself, you are looking out, but you are seeing yourself. Same way here also external means of knowledge called Shastra and teacher, etc. Words of the teacher. Looks external, but through that you are seeing yourself. Guru Shastra, words of the teacher, and of course they are nothing but the words of the scripture. Well, even though they are external to you, but basically you are seeing yourself in those words. They are mirror. Okay? And therefore, Shastra inquiry is self-inquiry. That is how it is. So, Guru Shastra, Upadesha, etc. Definitely is just as you require mirror. Guru Shastra, Upadesha also is a mirror, and that is how you will have a darshan of yourself, etc. And then one gains knowledge by self-inquiry through Shastra and teacher. And then he divides knowledge into two, which is a unique contribution of Vidyaranya. And that is, he says there is a Paroksha Jnana and Aparoksha Jnana. Many teachers don't accept, but Vidyaranya will prove that there is a Paroksha Jnana of Atma and Aparoksha Jnana of Atma. We'll see that tomorrow. Not tomorrow, after 2 days. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.